We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. Verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. Verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45.
Thank you so much for watching 10 Tampa Bay. I am Carolina Lead.
I'm Ryan Bass. After 10 hours of deliberation, a Minneapolis jury has found former police officer Derek Chauvin guilty on all charges of murdering George Floyd.
But first, let's take a look at that verdict. Derek Chauvin was guilty of second-degree unintentional murder, a charge that carries up to 40 years in prison. Also guilty of third-degree murder, a charge that would carry up to 25 years. And that last charge, Chauvin guilty of second-degree manslaughter, which carries up to 10 years in jail.
After the verdict was read, here was Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer, being escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs after again being found guilty on all counts of killing George Floyd. His bail revoked as well. There were cheers heard outside the courthouse once he was found guilty. 10 Tampa Bay's Emerald Morrow has been on top of this trial since day one. Emerald, we are seeing something extremely rare at these charges carrying a lot of weight here.
Yeah, Ryan, it is rare because it is not often that we see police stand trial for murder. It's more rare seeing other officers testify against them. What's most rare, seeing an officer convicted of murder. Now, we did not see a lot of emotion from Derek Chauvin as the verdict was being read, but his life has just changed forever. Derek Chauvin now faces up to 40 years in prison for killing George Floyd. And the judge just said that sentencing will take place in about 8 weeks. His bail has been revoked. His bond has been discharged. And he is now in the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff.
This is such a monumental and historical case here, Emerald. And the thing I wanted to bring up to you is this, because the prosecution here brought in 38 different witnesses. They brought in doctors and medical experts that examined how George Floyd died, which they talked about asphyxiation and suffocation. They brought in use of force experts here as well. And it ended up in all counts being found guilty here. The prosecution, this video, the 9 minutes and 29 seconds, Emerald, that seemed to be the key piece here in this case that ended up in these guilty verdicts. You
know, Ryan, that 9 minute and 29 second video was so powerful. It went around the world and it really captured everyone's attention. But what this prosecution understood was that 9 minute and 29 second video was not going to be enough, which is why we saw the video of George Floyd in the surveillance video. We also saw him in that closed circuit surveillance video. We also saw every single angle of video that there was to see. We saw it, and that altogether was something that made it almost impossible. Well, I guess we can say at this point it did make it impossible for the defense to overcome.
I do want to ask you this because sentencing is something we did not see today. When do you expect that we could possibly see sentencing? Because charges on all three of these counts, the first one, the most serious one, up to 40 years, Derek Chauvin could serve in prison.
Well, Ryan, the judge did say it's going to take a while. It could be about 8 weeks before we see him back in court for that sentencing.
You've covered this trial since day one. The amount of emotional testimony we've seen, family members of George Floyd, his girlfriend, quite a historical significance here as we close this out.
Absolutely a historic moment.
It was this trial, and I want you to take me through one last thing here, Emerald. When you look through the testimony, because you covered each day of this, there was a lot of emotional and key pieces. What to you maybe was the key piece of testimony in this case that may have led to what we see? Was it that video? Do you think that was maybe what captivated this jury and led to the guilty counts that we saw today?
The video was key, but that testimony from Dr. Tobin, the pulmonologist, I think that was something that really stood out to the jury because it was the way that he was able to communicate very complicated topics and make it something that everybody could understand, and the way that he was able to calculate when George Floyd took his last breath, the way that he was able to calculate that Derek Chauvin stayed stayed on George Floyd 3 minutes and some seconds beyond him taking his last breath was something that I think, in combination with that video, really stood out to the jury and got us to where we are.
I do want to thank you for your weeks of coverage here, as you have continually been with us to document this trial piece by piece and to continually show us all of the key pieces of testimony in this case, because there was a lot of it to sift through. And there was a lot of different elements of evidence that were presented here. The defense, I will say, in talking with Carolina here when we were going over this case, they tried to present the case that it was not Chauvin's knee on his neck that killed George Floyd. It was drugs. It was his heart condition. But ultimately, it came to the sense of where they weren't able to prove without reasonable doubt that that was the case of what killed George Floyd. And the jury, obviously, all of them, all 12 of them, a mix of very different ethnic backgrounds, found that Derek Chauvin was guilty on all 3 counts here.
Yeah, definitely. And the defense, they tried to put their best case forward, as any defense would do. And those were really some of the strongest things that the defense had. And a lot of experts have said the strongest witness for the defense was that use of force expert, Barry Broad, that what he said about the way that the technique was allowed. And a lot of the things that he said was something that did carry some weight, and had a lot of people really thinking that that was the strongest point for the defense.
And the police chief, too, coming out and saying that Derek Chauvin didn't follow protocols. That wasn't proper training when he had his knee on George Floyd's neck for the 9 minutes and 29 seconds. We've seen reaction all across the Bay Area. You could find a lot of that on 10tampabay.com, but we did have Mayor Rick Kreisman of St. Pete tweeting out this: justice. It should have never come to this, but finally justice. Let us not forget how much work we still have to do. And Emerald, you've covered a lot over the last 330 days since George Floyd was killed on May 25th of 2020. A lot of the changes that could be coming in police departments across America. In your opinion, from what you've done and the coverage that you've done, how much could this trial and this verdict have an impact on police accountability in this country moving forward?
I interviewed an expert last week who says this is already having an impact, because as this trial was happening, we had the shooting of Daunte Wright, and almost immediately we had charges against that officer, and that is not something historically that we would have always seen. So experts are saying that what happened with George Floyd, the attention that this case has garnered, has already begun to have an impact on policing and the criminal justice system.
And we've seen some of those changes here in the Bay Area as well. So there's been a lot. This trial has certainly had reverberating effects throughout the country, and certainly here in the Tampa Bay area as well. Again, thank you so much for all of your coverage here, Emerald, and providing us an insight into this trial over the last 3 weeks.